So, welcome. My name is WriterMaven. I am the host of the Wrestling Receipts podcast. I talk about all things Judgment Day, Dom, Liv, Raquel, JD, Finn, Roxanne, no more Carlito. I'm going to miss my cool Uncle Carlito. As y'all have probably heard by now, Carlito's contract was not renewed with the WWE, and he is no longer with the Judgment Day, as evidenced tonight. And you can actually feel how everything got sucked out of Judgment Day with his leaving. I mean, there's no humor, and without humor, there is no Judgment Day. So maybe it's a blessing in disguise that Carlito is gone, because if it's just going to be like this humorless, serious Judgment Day, I don't want it. They tried pressing that version with Edge when he first started it up, and it didn't work, and things only seemed to click when Dom arrived and he added some much needed levity and humor to the group. So since Carlito's gone, and probably now Dom and Liv are against the world now, Judgment Day is no more, because I know I'm not going to be sticking around to talk about Finn and his demonic self. I will say, this Raw had me in a state of I am confusion, because there are just so many little bits where I can tell where they want to go with the storyline, but it doesn't jive with the narrative, and it doesn't jive with what is being presented on screen, either in the past couple of weeks or even the past couple of years. There's some bits that don't make sense, and I put that on the X, like, there's things where you knew last year that that Damien and Rhea are going to get betrayed, because they acted like they were going to get betrayed. They did things to ensure that. But here, with Dom and Liv, they haven't done that. Like, we haven't seen Dom be like an ass, like Finn has been an ass to him. We haven't seen Liv just like be all about Dom to the point where she's been neglecting Raquel. We haven't seen that. We only might have seen like a little piece of it these past couple of weeks, but it's only been like a couple of weeks. It's not like it's been something that's been brewing for months. You know, something that would have taken advantage of all this long-term booking and stalling that Triple H likes to do. Like, now it just seems like we're speed running now, and it doesn't make sense. Like, this, when it makes sense where you want to kick out Finn, but then you start speed running everything else where nothing else makes sense, then, you know, we're losing the plot here. So yeah, it's just, I am in a state of confusion. I'll talk about it when I get through the Judgment Day Clubhouse, because I have immense problems, again, with Cole and Pat's commentary regarding Dom. And there's just a lot of little bits and pieces that, I said, don't make sense. So, let's get into it, shall we? Pre-Raw. Let me bring up my notes. Pre-Raw. So, pre-Raw, I encourage everybody to go to the YouTube where they posted Dom and Liv sneaker shopping. That was another, like, a Rolex date with them, like how Dom spent all that money for a Rolex for Liv. Here he's spending a whole bunch of money to take Liv shoes shopping, sneaker shopping. And it said like he spent like what, $9,000 or something like that, almost $10,000 again for them to sneaker shop and match. Like, that man's got it bad. And if you look at some of the pictures seen here, it's apparent that Dom was with her when Liv posted the pic of her with all those like chicken wings and stuff like that. You remember when Roxanne gave Dom those chicken nuggets that were looking dry, and then Liv posted a picture like showing like all the chicken wings and tenders and stuff like that? Apparently that was their date then, like Dom and Liv's date. So when Roxanne was giving Dom those dry ass nuggets, you know, Dom had already been on a date with Liv after she got back from Japan. And they had that date with all the chicken nuggets, chicken tenders. So that's really some nice little kayfabe lore that got snuck in there during this sneaker shopping video. But I strongly encourage y'all to go watch it. It's on YouTube. Liv was promoting it. Dom was promoting it on the X. So if you can, go ahead and watch that video. I didn't get a chance to go on here yesterday because things were going on with me, but I was really not feeling good. So, we saw that R-Truth, Carlito, and now Valhalla has been released from the WWE, or at least their contracts will not be renewed, but still, it's a release. You know, it's just that they won't have the 90-day no compete clause with them. And then there's also speculation with The Miz, because he like stripped down like his whole social media, removed some things as well. There's some inklings that there might be some more releases. And again, with this R-Truth thing, it's just really showing that fans are really not having it with R-Truth, because why wouldn't you put R-Truth and Carlito on like an ambassador or Legends contract? Why are you just releasing them outright? Like, if you can have Titus O'Neil as an ambassador, you can have R-Truth as an ambassador. Or if you don't want to give them ambassador roles, you could be giving Carlito and R-Truth Legends roles, because they more than deserve those Legends roles. Like I said, with Carlito, that hits the hardest with Judgment Day, because he was a part of Judgment Day all the way up until last week. It's the same thing with R-Truth. I'm really not liking how they're releasing people mid-storyline. It used to be, and it was bad then, but at least used to be when people got released, they weren't a part of an active storyline. Like, they would be gone for months, and then when you see that they've been released, then they haven't been on TV and they haven't been impacted. They're not impacting a major storyline in any way. Carlito leaving impacts the Judgment Day majorly, because, like I said, he was the humor. And like I said, I'm not sure I want to be a part and watch Judgment Day if it's just going to be Finn sneaking around and being demonic. Like, we need the humor. We need humor to break up things. And it's not going to be fun anymore. But yeah, these releases are really getting to me, just because you're seeing TKO and Triple H. You can't ignore Triple H in this. You have to include Triple H with all the talks. It's not just TKO. It's not just Endeavor. Triple H is involved with this too. It's just bugging me that they're doing all these releases, and it looks like they're gutting the mid-card too. Like, these are people that are part of the mid-card, which you could be using them for something else. And you're releasing people in mid-storyline where it don't make no sense. Like, and there's people. Now, I'm not an advocate of people losing their job. I don't play like that. But there are, there's like other people you would think that'd be like, okay, why are they still here? But these people that are being used are not. And it can't just be because of a contract, especially when TKO keeps gouging with prices and gouging with, with who they want, all this stuff. And it's just a mess. I'm not liking how the WWE is. I mean, I was in some bad times with Vince McMahon in the dark ages when he was, doing repeat matches after repeat matches. But now it may end up being even worse than the Vince era. And that's saying something. But, yeah, so that's the releases too that I wanted to talk about a little bit, but I'm going to miss Carlito. And and then before I get into Raw, people are still bitching about Dom's booking now Liv's. Now, with Dom, I really don't get what people expect Dom to be doing right now. He's in a storyline. He's locked in with Finn. They're locked in with Dom. Okay, so sorry. So with Dom, he's locked in with Finn and possibly AJ now that we've seen on Raw. And so he's got a feud. He's got like a couple of feuds waiting for him. It's not like he's not doing anything. This would be something like if he was off TV for weeks. He's not. And with the El Grande Americano winning that last spot, I'm kind of glad he's not in the Money in the Bank match right now. Like, what are we doing here? So I still don't get the bitching. Like, who is he supposed to be wrestling? Is he supposed to be wrestling Dragon Lee? Like, I would like a Dragon Lee match, but I would like it to be a nice feud and stuff for the match too. But you gotta build that feud. And if you build that feud and you have Dom wrestling, there's a chance that Dom will lose. And then you got people bitching because Dom is losing. So, people got to be careful with what they wish for when it relates to like wrestling and booking matches and things like that. And then with Liv, like, I'm not getting what people are bitching about with her because she's actually more protected than Dom. Like, she has protected losses. Yeah, she lost here with Stephanie, and I'm going to get into why that ladder match is going to be sucking. But she's protected. Like, she's way more protected than Dom. So, I'm not getting where people want the booking. She looks like she's getting right back into the title feud with Iyo now. So, again, people need to be careful what they wish for when it comes to booking and things like that. Like, I can get it if you're impatient and you want them pulling triggers on certain things, like with Finn and all that. I get that. And y'all know that I never say to be patient with Triple H's booking and the process is fucked. Y'all know me. But on the other hand, when you're getting something and it's actually moving forward, then you can't just keep bitching about it too. Like, you may not like the way it's going, but at least it's going a certain direction. You know what I mean? But, you can bitch about it, but, I almost would say, like, be careful on how you bitch about it. Like, you know what I mean? So that's that. Let's get into Raw, shall we? So, Monday Night Raw. I'm gonna skip all the CM Punk stuff, so we're gonna get into Liv in the hallway of Doom with Raquel. Roxanne comes up on Liv and Raquel and offers her help. Liv rejects the help and says Roxanne to stay away. Notice, she said for Roxanne to stay away. Did she say Raquel to stay away? No. Liv walks off, and then Roxanne and Raquel have like either an argument or a talk in the background. That could be just for show, but they're doing that all behind Liv's back. As Liv is walking, she comes across Iyo and says that she's coming for the title. Iyo says that she doesn't think so, and Liv says, watch me. So Liv is now still being shown as interested in the title. I like it because I do like an Iyo and Liv match, but I don't want it to be a stopgap just so Rhea can get the belt after Iyo. You know how it was last year, how Iyo was used as a stopgap between Liv and Rhea's title match where Liv lost that. I don't want Liv to be a stopgap between Rhea and Iyo where Rhea gets the belt after this. You know what I mean? Like, I want a nice feud between Iyo and Liv. I don't want it just to be one and done where Liv loses and then here comes Rhea and then she gets the belt back right after. Like, I don't want that. Women's ladder match. Stephanie has some good presence here and Stephanie wins and there's no interference. Like, where were you, Raquel? Like, at least last week, Roxanne was coming out to supposedly help. Here, Raquel didn't show up at all. So it's really, really interesting that she didn't show up here. And with Stephanie winning, I am now declaring that this ladder match, this Money in the Bank ladder match, is going to be ass. Why am I saying it's going to be ass? Because the only veteran in there that can be taking these big bumps, that we know can take these big bumps, is Naomi. Alexa has been in the Money in the Bank matches, but she don't take the bumps. I complained about this the other day. Like, with Alexa, she will, she might take a bump and then lay around the ring for, like, a good chunk of the time, then come back and do another bump and then lay around again. That's not good. I don't like it. And all these other people, we don't know how they're going to be in the ladder match. We don't know how Rhea's going to act. We don't know how Julia's going to act. We don't know how Stephanie's going to act. Roxanne has been in a ladder match, but still, that's NXT. This is different. Like, who's going to be doing the bumps in this match? Like, I better not be seeing, like, Naomi taking all these big-ass bumps and spots where everybody else are just, standing around doing shit. Like, all the people that's been in a ladder match that been doing the spots are not in it. We don't have an Iyo in there. We don't have a Lyra in there. We don't have Natty in there to set the pace. We don't have Nikki. Nikki would be good in here. Nikki Cross. We don't have her in there. Mi Chin would be good in this one. Any of these other older girls, older women. Chelsea would be good in this match. if we had Michin, Chelsea, Nikki, Iyo, Lyra, Cody, Bailey, in addition to Naomi, any of them, that would have at least ensured that we would be getting a nice, decent match when it comes to spots, because everybody else would be able to take these spots. With just Naomi being there, being able to take the spot, I'm not sure about the match quality. People are saying that, oh, this is going to blow the roof off. Nah, I really think it's not going to do as well. The men's might actually do better this year than the women. You know, mark me down for that. Like, when we come across on Saturday, like, it might just end up being the women not having a good Money in the Bank match. Just because of who's in it. And I am, since Liv is not in this match, I'm hoping for a Naomi win. Rhea doesn't need it. Rhea doesn't need it. Stephanie doesn't need it. Julia doesn't need it. Roxanne needs to lose to further along the Judgment Day stuff. And Alexa, I really don't care. You know, they want to do something with Wyatt 6, let her do something with Wyatt 6. But Naomi needs to win it. She's got the most character. She has the most development. She's been acting her ass off and working her ass off for months with this character, this can proceed with caution character of Naomi. So me, as a ride or die for Naomi, she needs to win this match. I don't want to see nobody else. I don't want to see anything of Mommy in the Bank. Like, I don't need to see that. So that's that. And then we had this interesting bit of Paul trying to go after AJ, and then he was insulting Dom like he's greasy and all that stuff like that. And I'm like, first of all, Paul, I was talking you up last week, so why are you going to make me look bad now? But now that but thinking about it, this could be a reverse psychology, because Paul did the same thing to Seth before he joined Paul. Before Paul joined Seth. So it's interesting that Paul has Dom's name in his mouth when he didn't need to have Dom's name in his mouth. Think about it. He could have just mentioned that AJ should be going after the Intercontinental title. And we know that Dom's holding the Intercontinental title. Like, he didn't need to add the extra bits with Dom. So maybe there's still something there with Paul and Dom there. Or Paul, Dom, and Seth. So it's not a lost cause just yet. Somebody on the X was just like, was really cackling about it. Oh, there goes your theory. I'm like, no. Seth, Dom said he hated Seth before he joined him. So that doesn't mean anything. You can say one thing and do another. So right now it just seems like that was a reverse psychology bit. And then AJ says that he's still going to be coming after Intercontinental title, which is why I said that that's probably going to happen at Night of Champions. Like, I was right about that. People were saying that's going to happen at Money in the Bank. I'm like, no, I think they're going to do that for Night of Champions, because they need all hands on deck for that PLE. So, yeah, that's probably going to be Dom versus AJ at Night of Champions. The Judgment Day, Finn and JD versus War Raiders. Finn and JD win with the Roxanne distraction. Finn was all happy about it with his demonic head, but peep JD here. JD was not happy with that interference. Yeah, he got the win, but was he happy that Roxanne interfered? No, he wasn't. So it's really interesting how JD's reaction to Roxanne compared to Finn's reaction to Roxanne. And then we're back in the clubhouse, and Carlito is gone. And Dom wore his shirt, which was nice. Liv talks to Finn and tells him that she's onto him. Like, she's like, I know the chicken tendies and shoulder rubs and things like that. And it's a call out of what she did last year. Like with Dawn, with the chicken tendies and the rubs and stuff like that. But in that case, last year, we always suspected that Dawn was already with Liv in the first place. So this was more like an action to get Dom to profess publicly instead of privately last year. This time, it's more like Roxanne trying to do it just to sway Dom, and it's not working. But Liv said that she's on to Finn, and then, Finn is all like, well, Finn says that Eventually you'll trust them. And then Liv says something really important. She says that it's not Dominik that she doesn't trust. So Liv and Dom are tight. They're good. LivDom is fine. So for all my LivDom fans, they're fine. Liv said, and I'm going to repeat it again, it's not Dominik that she does not trust. And that flew way over Finn's head. So she is on to Finn. And she put him on notice. And then Finn, offers to have Roxanne out there for Raquel, but Liv overrules him, saying that she wants, she's going to be out there for Raquel. And, they take off. And then here we have Dom doing his, apology bit of, oh, I'm sorry about the chair. And Finn says it's water under the bridge, and then he hits his title belt. And again, peep Dom's face when Finn does that. He did not like that at all. Now, for another important bit, Raquel was either mugging Dom or Finn during this segment. And I am not getting this. If it's directed at Dom, I'm not getting it. Why am I not getting it? Because Dom hasn't done anything to her. You can say that, oh, maybe Dom is taking Liv's attention away from her. But you remember when I was saying how things seem like they're speed running? This is something that needed to be developed months or weeks and almost months in advance. We needed to see that Liv was ignoring Raquel. Because for right now, it doesn't look like Liv has been ignoring Raquel. She just went away for Japan, but that shouldn't be enough for somebody to start getting, jealous over attention that she might be giving Dom. You know what I mean? It's too rushed, and it doesn't make sense. So we might still have, something going the La Familia split of Dom, Liv, and Raquel. But if they're going to have Raquel turn on Liv, it's still not making sense. Because, Liv has not been acting this certain, bougie, up in her nose, up in the air way with Raquel. It's not like she's got... Y'all remember Melina? Melina in the Ruthless Aggression era, where she had the paparazzi following her around, wanting to take her pictures. It's not like Liv was like Melina, where when she steps out of the Judgment Day Clubhouse, she's got paparazzi wanting to take her picture, and she ignores Raquel. If she started doing something like that, where it's not something where she's not doing it intentionally, but Raquel feels a certain way about it, then yeah, I would get it. But we haven't gotten that from Liv towards Raquel. And it's the same thing with Dom. Dom has not done anything to Raquel. It's not like Dom is trying to sneak away Liv where Raquel doesn't get any kind of time with Liv. We haven't seen that. Now, we've seen their dates on social media, and we've seen what they do outside of WWE television and social media, but it's not, but still, that's their thing. I mean, it's you can almost treat that like it's a date between them. It's not where, Liv and Raquel are, doing something. Dom rolls up and says, hey, Liv, let's go do this. And then Liv is okay, and then walks off with Dom. We're not getting that kind of, treatment on WWE television. So this is why it doesn't make sense to me, and it's not jiving. The narrative's not working here for some reason. Now, we can still get Judgment Day split where it's just LivDom against the world, and you got Finn over here with Roxanne and Raquel and things like that, and you can do that, but there are pieces missing because it was Finn that was being the ass to Dom, and it's Finn being the ass to Liv, and we don't get none of that back towards Finn. I mean, Dom has been costing Finn on the sly, but it's not something really, really overt where out of the blue Finn is just being this ass to Finn, where it's uncalled for. Whenever time Dom does something, it's in response to what Finn does. It's not like Dom is doing this out of his own volition just yet. You see what I mean? So there's some chunks here that are missing or don't make sense, and that's why I'm in a state of I am confusion, because I can't really just say like, hey, they're gonna go with Finn and Roxanne and Dom and Liv at SummerSlam, because still that doesn't make sense to me. I mean, yeah, they can do that, and maybe Judgment Day would have to pick sides, but still, that's gonna be really lackluster. And if they go with like a repeat of last year, where they look like they're going to kick out Liv and Dom, that's still lackluster, because it won't hit the same like it did last year. Like, Liv and Dom getting kicked out now, will it hit the same like last year? No. Because everybody would be cheering for Liv and Dom, and then Judgment Day right now will just be in shambles because nobody's going to be paying attention to them. Like right now, when JD and Finn won, do you see any kind of cheers or boos for them? No. But you heard the cheers for Liv? You see? It's that that's not making sense, and it's keeping me in a state of confusion right now. Like, I almost need another week, or something else needs to happen. Like, maybe we'll see what happens at Worlds Collide or at Money in the Bank or something like that, or SmackDown. Something else needs to happen where I can just go, okay, this is what's going to happen. Right now, I can't call it. And then Raquel versus Cody. Now, I want y'all, I don't know if y'all were able to hear this narrative. This might have been just on the international feed, where Pat and Cole were talking about Dom and women. They're talking about Dom like he's a womanizer. And I'm like, Dom's only been with like 2 women. We haven't seen Dom do any kind of eyes to or any other women. And see, that's what sets him apart from Eddie Guerrero. He doesn't do the flirtatious thing with other women. But when you listen to Pat and Cole, it's like he's womanizing. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Like, even with the cheating, if you can call it cheating, Dom cheating on Rhea, it still wasn't a womanizing thing. See, this is why you have to pay attention to the Pat and Cole narrative, because it sounded like they were going to switch it up, where, because they were saying, like, okay, Finn is instigating stuff. And I'm like, okay, now Cole is acknowledging that Finn is instigating things in Judgment Day. Okay, cool, fine. We see that. But now, with Dom, they're saying he's a womanizer. And then, Pat was saying that Dom was a fumbler in regards to Rhea. Now, y'all know me on the X, and I'm saying if, where he's saying that Dom fumbled Rhea, I have a saying that I keep posting when everybody says that. I say, even though for every beautiful woman there's a man who is sick of her shit. Now, is that misogynistic? Maybe, but in Rhea's case it fits, because she might be beautiful, she might be all that, but there's always going to be somebody that gets sick of her shit, and Dom was sick of her shit. Like, how are you going to say that Dom fumbled Rhea when Rhea is still over here walking around still acting the same way and not doing anything, and she's still bringing up old shit at this Netflix to them? Like, at the Netflix to them, Rhea was saying that Judgment Day hasn't been the same without her, and I was like, how big-headed can you be saying that? I mean, who has the titles in Judgment Day? It's Liv, Raquel, and Dom. You don't have a title. So, and you lost your title twice. So, it just sounds really big-headed of her to say that. And you're going to sit over here on commentary with Cole saying that Dom fumbled that? Please. And then, again, Cole was saying that Dom is being big-headed and, high and mighty about himself for not being out there. And again, I have to call bullshit on that, because how come it's a problem when Dom's not out there, but it wasn't a problem when Dom was out there softening up people for Judgment Day when everybody else had the title? You see what I mean? This is where this narrative thing and how the pieces are fitting right. So if y'all want Liv and Dom on their own and kicked out where they're faces or at least tweeners, wouldn't the narrative change? Why are you still presenting Dom as this womanizer and as this big-headed guy that doesn't apparently care about Judgment Day? you're presenting him still as a heel on commentary sense. And see, this is why we need the heel commentator, because at least a heel commentator like Wade would have put some perspective on this. So the commentary is not matching up with what's going on with the Judgment Day storyline. You got commentary still having Dom and Liv being presented like heels here, which is fine. I don't want them to turn just to turn face for whatever reason. I'd rather them be heels. But if you're going to present Dom and Liv as heels, then why are you still presenting the Judgment Day storyline where it looks like they're like everybody's going against them, but then the storyline don't match up? Like, they haven't done enough heelish stuff. So you have commentary having Dom and Liv as heels, but Dom and Liv themselves have not done enough heelish shit to justify being kicked out by Judgment Day right now. Or just something, or a schism within Judgment Day. You see what I mean? There's stuff missing here. Like, we needed to either have Dom be really possessive of Liv where she couldn't get to Raquel, or Liv doing this whole paparazzi princess thing where, you know, she's up in the air and she's like, maybe Liv... See, they could have been doing this with Liv and Dom now. Like, Liv and Dom on the red carpet. They get the paparazzi treatment. You know, they're getting the camera flashes. Everybody's, you know, calling their name. All that. And then they ignore all the rest of Judgment Day. If they were doing something like that, where everybody else is getting jealous, that would have been fine. That would make sense. For the other Judgment Day members be like, okay, we're not dealing with this, and then they want to kick them out. See, but I might still have a problem with some of the narrative on that, but at least they will be doing enough for that narrative and Pat and Cole's narratives to make sense. You see what I mean? But we're not getting that. So there's just a lot of bits and pieces that are missing with the commentary. And it's a lot of bits and pieces missing with the story. And I still don't have no clue what's going to happen. Liv goes to distract Iyo Liv went to distract Kairi when Iyo comes out to fight her off. Kairi takes advantage of the distraction to pick up the win against Raquel. It's going to look like it's probably going to be a women's tag team match, title match, either at Night of Champions or something like that. And they might even do like a 3-way with Michin and B-Fab, so Iyo and Kairi don't get pinned there. So they could do something like that. They'll have Michin and B-Fab and Iyo and Kairi, and then Liv and Raquel can pin B-Fab and Michin, and then that'll spin up the Liv versus Iyo match maybe later on down the line. So that's what's Raw. Like I said, the narrative is all over the place. I'm not sure what they're doing as relates to this narrative. I don't like it. It just seems like everything is either getting rushed or Triple H is pulling things out of his hat. Triple H ain't subtle, so maybe it will be just LivDom against the world, but still, it's just some things just not making sense. I can see a split with the Judgment Day or LivDom versus the world, but like I said, certain storyline beats aren't making sense. Last year we saw how Damian and Rhea would get betrayed. Now I'm not seeing that. We know that Finn has a problem with wanting to lead Judgment Day, but Dom and Liv haven't done anything to have others turn on them. You know? Like, Finn could have a problem, but it should be like more like Finn against everybody else instead of everybody else against Liv and Dom. You see what I mean? And like I said, if Dom is heading for a face turn, why are they painting him still like a womanizer and being high and mighty about not being there? Like, is he a face or is he a heel? Is he going to be a tweener? And even with the tweener, you would start talking more positively because he's like smack down in the middle. Like, you could talk about, maybe you could talk about his womanizing, but then you're talking up some other positive aspects about Dom, and they didn't do that. So yeah, it's just all over the place. I'm not sure what's going on. So yeah, it's just weird to me.